Thank you, and thank my colleague from California for letting me jump ahead. Dr. Moniz, thank you for being here today. My questions are simple. You know, the public expects us to address issues and solve problems, so I'll ask some simple questions. Dr. Moniz, do you believe that the climate is changing?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And do you believe that regardless of percentages, that there are both natural causes of climate change as well as human causes of climate change?
Certainly.
And do you believe that, given the trajectory that we're on, that at some juncture the climate change is going to become irreversible or be very difficult to
Well, yes,
manage?
because basically carbon dioxide stays in the atmosphere for many, many centuries, so it's cumulative. And yes, we've kind of set the agenda for decades in advance already.
And the longer we delay dealing with this, the more difficult it'll be.
Correct.
So given that, and given that all of us agree that you're one of the most qualified scientists, you know, the Senate overwhelmingly confirmed you, do you think our focus should be on those areas that we can actually impact climate change, which would be the human causes of climate change?
Well, yes, I think we should. I think prudence calls for us to take prudent steps today. And I might add that the difference of the anthropogenic over these last decades is the rapidity with which we are. It's not a natural timescale the way we are increasing CO2 emissions.
Great. So this body can debate percentages, they can debate causes, but we all acknowledge that regardless of the percentage, there's a human factor here that leads to increased CO2
well, I certainly a very strong one in my view.
That impact our ability. Giving us advice, what recommendations would you like to see this body enact and the administration enact so we start to slow this down?
Well, I think certainly for the Department of Energy and for this committee's jurisdiction, I think a key is to really push hard on the science and technology that underpins a transition over time to a low-carbon economy. I mean, I think that's the innovation agenda. And as I've said, I think not all of my entrepreneurial friends like this, but I think the fundamental goal of this innovation is cost reduction of these technologies, and so that they will all be marketplace competitive and drive. The policy will be a lot easier with lower costs.
And specific recommendations for how we actually reduce the cost, what you'd like us to see us do?
Well, I think, again, the targets, I think, are across the board efficiency. I mean, efficiency is where today we still have many opportunities that are at least life cycle cost beneficial, whether that's vehicles, buildings, of course, an enormous opportunity, industrial processes. Then we need to go to low-carbon, carbon-free alternatives in the power sector, which is probably the leading sector for getting carbon out of the sector. We have three options. We have nuclear, we have renewables, and we have carbon capture and sequestration. And I believe we need a multi-pronged approach on all of these, and that's what, in fact, the President's budget proposes. That's what we are doing. Great.
As a scientist myself, a life scientist, certainly this is critical. You know, we certainly are seeing the changes that are occurring. Again, the vast majority of the public understands that the climate is changing. The vast majority of the science community understands that the climate is changing. And it is about time that we move past debating percentages and addressing the root cause issue where we can address that root cause issue. So, you know, we on this committee look forward to working with you. We look forward to working with the administration, and we look forward to working with the broader community to start addressing our children's future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, because as you're saying, sir, there's a lot to debate in terms of how we address it.
Absolutely. But you know, we can have that debate on how we address it,
right.
But let's move past the debate of whether the climate's changing or not. We know the climate's changing, and let's focus on those areas where we can have impact and we can actually, you know, ensure our children's future and our grandchildren's future. Thank you, and I yield back.